registering as a sex offender. Toledo police did some digging thanks to that tip, and they're now charging him with murder and aggravated burglary.
First at 10 tonight, a teenager has turned himself in after this attack in Scranton. New at 10 tonight, dozens of people are in custody and thousands of dollars worth of drugs are off the streets after Wilkes-Barre police executed several drug busts and undercover buys. Only twice in the Lackawanna League history has a girls basketball team won a state championship. The last was 1987. Tonight, the Dunmore Ladybucks try to make it number 3. Fox 56 Sports' Bob Ide is in Hershey with the very latest.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We are live at Fifth Third Field tonight, and things are getting pretty exciting. The Mud Hens just put a couple of runs on the board. We're in the bottom of the 5th, and it's kind of chilly out here.
NBC 24's Bree Malaska is live for us there now. Bree, firefighters aren't the only ones standing in solidarity with the nurses.
After the smoke cleared Monday morning, officers realized someone had been in the building just moments before the fire.
Dunmore police are warning that there's someone out there pretending to be one of their officers. 2 weeks ago, the suspect conducted a traffic stop on State Route 11. The victim said the sedan had red and blue lights in the grille. The officer showed a badge that said Susquehanna County. He's described as white, average build, dirty blonde hair, military cut, probably in his 30s. If you have had a similar experience or know anything about this man, contact state police. We all know you can spend big bucks on your medications, and the prices don't seem to be coming down anytime soon. But you can be a savvy shopper when getting your prescriptions. Here are the simple ways you can save.
Looking forward to this summer. We really don't want any of this green water. Is there a way that we can forecast that?
Humane officers in Luzerne County are investigating a case of animal cruelty. They say someone is setting out fish hooks to catch stray cats.
Trash bins left on the side of the road. Residents in Findlay are now asking why there's been no pickup this week.
The law requires Catholic priests and nuns globally to report all cases of sexual abuse.
Instead of being accessories, they're now considered machine guns, which were made illegal back in the 80s.
When was the last time you wrote in cursive? State leaders are bringing it back into the classroom for elementary students. We're going to talk to teachers about the impact it'll have on them.
There has been a lot of talk about pay equality. Now Toledo City Council members are joining that discussion. They introduced the Toledo Pay Equity Act. There's actually a generation that wasn't taught cursive, and for them, it's a reality. Starting this fall, elementary teachers will once again have the materials to teach cursive. Ohio lawmakers approved that change back in December, nearly a decade after it took backseat to keyboarding.
Stop at the top for that A. When you come back around, watch that V. It's like a roller coaster that has a hook on it. Hook right into your Y.
Tanya Stahl has been with Toledo Public Schools for 18 years.
I remember when I learned as a child and how seeing cursive looked like scribbles to me, and then as I was learning, it was like this magical language that just kind of appeared on the board. And I tell them that story, and then I have lots of them who are like, oh, that happened to me too. And we have this connection, and I think that's kind of neat for them too.
She has consistently taught it to her 3rd grade students at Beverly Elementary.
Looking beautiful. So even when it wasn't directed by the state for us to teach cursive, I kept doing it with my classes. So every year I have started at the beginning of the year teaching cursive, and I have a lot of parents who thank me for doing that because it's important. And the kids seem to really love it.
Is it hard?
No. You get to learn something new, and it's like fun, and it's like a fun way to write your words. Because I think print is a little harder than cursive.
The problem is that some of them, we have so many standards that we have to cover that a lot of the teachers feel like they just don't have the time to fit everything in, and it is a juggling act. So even for me at the beginning of the year, we're teaching procedures, we're teaching beginning reading skills and those kinds of things, and then I'm trying to also do cursive too. But for me it's important, so we find a way.
Now that way will be clearer. House Bill 58 mandates the Department of Education include instructional materials for cursive in the English Language Arts model curriculum.
You could put your name in cursive, first and last, up at the top.
We now will begin teaching cursive, starting with our kindergarten kids in terms of learning those fundamentals up through grade 5, where they are to be proficient at it. The Ohio Department of Education is supposed to come out in July with curriculum.
Those resources will come in handy for Stahl, who has been making copies of old materials for years.
It would be good for the kids to actually have like a handwriting book that they could, use. Right now I do a lot of modeling on my projector on the board, and then I just give them some lined paper, and they're sort of like doing the same strokes and things as me on my lined paper.
As for the missed generation,
So it's been enough years that we're seeing some of our older students who can't write with it and they can't read it either, which is a real shame.
So if you have questions or concerns about maybe your student who wasn't taught cursive, you can contact your local school. The principal or the counselors can get you the tools you need, but the focus moving forward is going to be on K through 5. And tomorrow night, I'm actually putting people's penmanship to the test. I wanted to see how much people actually use cursive. I use it all the time.
Well, it seems like my grandma, like when I'm writing, I'll sometimes do like in between a mix of cursive and what is it called? Normal writing? Print.
Manuscript.
Yes. But my grandma, like every time she leaves me a note that she's going out or doing something, it's always in cursive. And I noticed that her generation does that as well. It's always seems to be
and that
cursive.
is one of the things that we're going to address. We're going to talk to a high school teacher as well about what we're missing out on. Historical documents are all written in cursive.
Yeah, and they're like, what word is this?
Yeah, it's interesting.